Welcome to Ask Sara with Sara Wiseman, where you'll learn how to awaken your divine soul and open your human heart. Sit back, relax, and get ready to laugh and learn. Here's Sara.
Don't you know I'm a new soul? Slide on by, don't you know I get lonely? Shine on by, don't you know that I'm new here? Take it slow, don't you know I'm your only one?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask Sara with Sara Wiseman. So glad to be with you here in mid-July 2018. And, we're going to be getting ready for this amazing lunar eclipse at the end of the month. We'll be talking more about that on the show. But just start to kind of tuck that into your awareness that last summer we had a giant solar eclipse. And this year we don't have that, at least not that where lots of us in the U.S. can see it, but we're having this lunar eclipse, and it's a pretty cool thing. So just tuck that date. Those periods around July 27th, 28th, 29th are big doozies of planetary influence. And it's always good to be aware of what's coming around, because definitely how the planets change and shift, and how the moon shifts, and how everything is moving around in accord definitely shifts us as well. I used to not really understand that. I used to be super interested in astrology, the various signs, but now as I've been paying attention and beginning to live my life in more of the rhythm of nature, more of the rhythm of the planets, it's just become very clear how our energies and how our emotional states are really influenced by what's happening in planetary position. And what happens is we all start feeling away because of the planet or the moon or whatever it is. And because we're all feeling away, we start to feel this more, remembering that we are one soul. So whatever one part of the collective is feeling, we all begin to have that experience together. And so it elevates it. And obviously a positive is better when we can manage to lift our vibration up and hold that for each other. So today we're talking about how can we understand the universe. And I want to talk a bit about this very special way the universe communicates. There's a lot more to it than just receiving signs and synchronicities. That's one of the big ways the universe does communicate. But there's this very specific languaging that the universe uses that is not, in most cases, written language. It's most often symbolic or archetypal or telepathic or emotional. And I'm going to say that again. The way the universe communicates is symbolic, archetypal, telepathic, or emotional. And so you might relate this to the idea of how you feel and how you receive information when you're dreaming. When you're dreaming, you go into another dimension and you exist there and you receive information. And in your dream state, you receive symbols. You dream about, a bear. And then you go back and look at your dream dictionary and you find out the meaning of bear as protector. And that relates to you. Or you dream and there are beings in your dream that are archetypal. Maybe Jesus arrives to you, or Mary, or a guide. These archetypal beings that we all relate to, that people from ancient times have related to these archetypes, these pieces of collective soul that we interpret in a particular way. There's often telepathy in a dream. We just have this sense of knowing the meaning even though we can't necessarily hear the speech, or the speech feels like it's a common way people report is that it's underwater. And then, of course, there's the emotion. In dreams, we have great emotions from fear to bliss to anxiety to anger, just the complete range of positive and negative emotional states. So when we're doing other ways, it's great to use dreaming as one of the ways we gather intuitive information. But, of course, we don't have to fall asleep and go into that dimension and receive it that way. We can also go into those states, a little slightly different dimensional place. We can go in there and we can receive in meditation. We can go into that same sort of state of trance, going into that other dimension of awareness when we're in nature, walking around, or when we're doing something, mindless, often taking a shower, doing the dishes, these kind of driving, create this trance state, listening to music. So whenever we create this different awareness state, we can start to receive information. And the thing to remember is, it's not going to show up necessarily, or probably not, in language, which is what we expect. Instead, it's those ways, symbol, archetype, telepathy, or emotion. We'll talk more about that as we move along during the show, but it's important to know how the language works so that you can learn to speak it. If we're always looking for our meaning in language or messaging, we're going to miss a lot of what the universe is bringing to us. We're going to miss, 90% of it. So we're going to go to the phones in just a moment. Today is Free Readings Tuesday, and you can call in to 888-298-5569, 888-298-5569. Looks like we have one line still open, and we'll be doing the phones in just a moment. And I'd like you to we'll do our meditation now. So I'd like you to just go ahead and close your eyes for a second. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I'd like you to just go into the place where you begin to think about, the dream you had last night. And just start, probably you won't remember. It's late in the day for most of us. You might remember a little piece of this dream. Maybe just kind of mosey into that space, that place where you were dreaming, and pull into your mind whatever you can remember. And if you can't remember anything, just allow yourself to imagine or picture or go to whatever is coming into your, we'll call it our third eye or our mind space. And just allow an image to form there. Just allow that image to become known to you. And this image is a symbol. This particular image is a symbol. And this symbol is the answer to the question, what do I need to know about the biggest thing I'm working on now? Maybe you have a conflict with someone, or you have a confusion over next steps. And I want you to just see this image that started by remembering your dream and then became aware to you in your mind's eye. And now you have an idea of what this symbol is. And I just want you to apply this, what this symbol means. And as example, for me, I just got an escalator. Escalator goes up, escalator goes down, and you don't need to walk. It takes you there. That's how I'm interpreting that symbol for the particular question that I have, the particular thing that I'm working on. You just get on it, and it takes you up or down. You don't have to climb the steps. It's automated. It takes you there. I want you to think about your own symbol and interpret it in the same way to the question that you had. And with that, you can do this exercise anytime. It's really cool. I like to ask, I like to choose a couple questions, put up a symbol, and then relate them together. There's always this deep meaning. Even if you're not quite sure of your interpretation, the more you do this practice, the more you get symbols and you get answers, and they begin to flow into a pattern that begins to make more and more sense to you. And with that, we're going to come out of meditation and we will begin our time together. And let us go to the phones where we have Becky calling from Toledo. Becky, welcome to the program.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. Did you get a symbol in your own meditation, or were you able to do that along with the meditation?
Yeah, I did. I'll have to reflect on the meaning, but I received, it looked like a mandala in a lotus shape with lots of intricate designs inside.
That's good. And so maybe, well, two things about the mandala. One, it's very intricate. It's very holy. And also, like those sand mandalas, you know, this is just what's arriving to me. They make them, the monks make them, and then they just blow them away. Even though they're so intricate, they just release them. It's kind of a interesting idea. So I'm sure you'll find your answer there.
That could be a good answer to the question that I had. So that was actually very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. So what is your question? Now that we've answered your question, we might have answered part of it. What is your question?
Well, I've had a relationship with someone that has sort of crossed all the things that you would want, and with some frustration as well. It's been romantic and intimate, supportive. It's been intense, but it's coming. It doesn't feel to me at this point that it's evolving. That may be my own expectation of what that would even mean. So now I'm starting to feel frustration, and I definitely am feeling a shift in the quality of the relationship. But what I'm hoping is just for some guidance on, first of all, maybe the significance of what this relationship was and is, and the best steps for me to take going forward.
Yeah. I do get another thing that just arrived to me is this. I saw this, I think I saw it on Twitter today. It was something about if you're not sure what to do, let go of everything and see what remains. That's one of the ways of approaching the flow state. I do agree. I'm seeing this relationship, this idea of the intensity, and it's almost like you liked the intensity at the beginning, but now you feel it's like too much intensity without perhaps enough substance, or it's very intense, it's very involved, it's very intricate. We might use the mandala idea, but you're finding it kind of exhausting, or you found it kind of exhausting, like you had to really show up to it so much. And it's as if maybe you didn't want to always have to put your attention there at the level that was kind of required to keep the relationship in the pattern that had been established. So does that resonate with you? Do you feel that?
Well, it's feeling like there definitely was a very important bond that has been created. But I think when you speak about the substance, it does feel now that it's become very mundane. And not that there has to always be great excitement, but it seems almost superficial at this point and almost going through just connecting because of the past bond that was created, not necessarily because something new is being created and moving forward.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
That feels right. Like that idea of you're connecting, you have to be intense, you have to show up because it's like this expectation. Or interestingly, it's like this pattern, this intricate pattern going back to that mandala, because you didn't receive that, at random. That was a clear symbolic answer for you. So I would suggest that you, I'm a big proponent of taking a breather from relationships or from where we put our attention, and especially like with people that you can't maybe break from or you don't want to break from, like family members or close friends, but you just sort of give yourself a little breathing room from that. And again, that idea, like, just release it and see what happens. Because I think you're right. It feels like it's not going to go anywhere different. And while that was okay when the relationship started, it's like, no, I that's not what I want.
So you would concur that it doesn't look like it's going to move into something more than what it is.
Yeah, it's like this is the pattern that can be accomplished between the two of you. Like this is it. And that's okay. And people do grow and change. And I don't feel like this is a negative relationship or, a red flag or anything. It's just, it's okay to want more than, and it's not like it's this person's fault. It's the two of you together. This is what you create. And it kind of is a little bit, kind of stuck or kind of, so yeah, I just think take some breathing room and, maybe take a little couple weeks out of connection and just notice how you feel. If you feel relief, that's a pretty good sign, that it's not doing it for you. If you feel longing and if you feel confusion, then just keep waiting until you have clarity. But doesn't make sense to kind of keep going in the same pattern. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Becky, thank you for calling. And it's a tough situation when that you can't quite put your finger on it, but it's not quite there. But I think that's better to face it. And when we call things what they are, the universe really supports that, rather than trying to pretend it's something different. So thank you. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much. That's time.
Yeah, good. Okay, let us go to our next caller. We have Christian calling from
Hello.
New York. Christian, welcome. Hi, welcome to the program.
Hi, I'm really happy to be for you to be able to take my call.
Nice. Well, what can I help you out with today? What's on your mind?
Well, I'm looking for guidance on what to do about a situation with my employment. So I've been working for the same company for 8 years, and I just feel like it's been a really great job. I love it. There are things about it that I absolutely love, and I also feel like it's time for me to start moving on. And I started looking for other jobs elsewhere, and I have a couple offers, and they're kind of different types of roles. And then the company that I currently work for, no sooner do I go and start interviewing for these other jobs than my company like offered me this position that's kind of like my dream job. And I was like, but it's almost like a little too late. Like I feel like in my heart I've kind of already moved on from this company. So I'm just, it's like when it rains it pours, and
right.
sometimes
Well,
I sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I have a couple questions for you. How old are you?
I am just a couple months away from turning 40.
Okay. And do you like working in the area that you're working in? Does that suit you in terms of your lifestyle and how you feel about your region, I guess?
Well, part of the situation with my job is that I travel for work 3 weeks out of the month, and I'm just exhausted of it. Yeah. I would like to be just home. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's the piece that I was seeing. Like, why are things darting across here and there, and it just look like moving, but it's really what you're already doing. Okay. So, and are any of the new offers that you've gotten higher in level than the dream job promotion, or is it hard to tell?
Not necessarily. I'd say that one. So I work in the hair industry, and I'm a hairstylist, and I currently work for a brand. And then there's another job that's a brand, and then another job is just working in a salon, not affiliated with the brand. And sometimes that to me sounds really appealing, almost like a lot of the additional stresses would be taken away, but then by working behind the chair and not working for a company necessarily, I'd be losing out on the security quote that you get from having a fun benefits package and all that stuff,
and kind of your cachet of being the one out and about. So here's what I'm receiving, and I love it when there's kind of choices. I'm receiving that, I'm going to just call it the dream job with the existing company is a pretty good choice. The other brand job is also a good choice. And this job where you're we'll just call it the salon job, that is something that you're going to do like later in a number of years when you're really, really like, I'm not traveling anymore. Then you're going to do that. But it's a little too early to make that shift quite yet. So kind of put that as, I'm going to do that dream. Maybe you'll have your own place. I don't know, but that's going to be later.
Okay.
You have this beautiful opportunity to kind of like be the puppet master of the brands and like, well, they offered me this and they offered me that. You've got this beautiful idea. So if you take your dream job, you're not going to be there very long, but you will get the elevation of the promotion, we'll call it. That's what I'm seeing. And then you'll change. If you take the other brand, I think it's going to be kind of the same. I think that both of these are, this idea of being stepping stones to get you somewhere else that you might be in a year or two. So I kind of think it doesn't really matter which of the brand jobs you take because they're both stepping stones, but it feels to me like the one with the established company, it's like you've knocked yourself up even higher on the ladder, and that's a little bit you can negotiate a little bit better with that in a year or two than if you go to the next one. Even though I know you're ready to move, but you're in a process of moving, and I'm not sure that even where you like call your home base, I almost feel like even with seeing all that travel going on, I feel like the home base place changes, even if it's just something about you're creating your home very differently. And part of all of this moving is so that the universe can get you. It's like sometimes the universe moves one piece and we think that's what's really going on, but actually the universe is moving those pieces so that something else can change. And that's what I'm seeing is like your home base is actually the piece that's shifting, like getting you to a better scenario.
It's so funny that you bring that up, because amidst all of this, in the same week that all of this, these interviews were happening, I also got word that my apartment building is for sale and that I might have to move.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, it's almost like it's like I'm being asked to have some life upgrades,
Yeah. You're being highly nudged. And it's kind of cool when things are in this place of like super activation, like everything's shifting and it's all changing and you know it and you don't know where to go. Like I just go where I have two rules that I use. Where's the energy the strongest in a positive way? Obviously, we don't want to go where the energy is the strongest in a negative way. And then I also keep looking at, well, what's working, like what's working without hardly any effort, which part of my life is in that place. And then I always just go in that, that ease, that sense of easy, active and easy flow. So, yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. And I appreciate you calling in. Good luck to you. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be back to take more callers who've been waiting so patiently. We'll be back to you guys in just a moment. If you do want to call in, 888-298-5569. You've been listening to Ask Sara with Sara Wiseman, and I'll be back in just a moment.
Are you an empath, intuitive, sensitive, or seeker who wants to learn more? Do you long to master the secrets of spiritual intuition for personal or professional growth? Would you like to work directly with Sara? Sign up now for Intuition University, Sara's year-long program in spiritual intuition, where you'll study with a supportive group of kindred souls, just like you. Classes start every semester. Learn how you can become a student of Intuition University at sarawiseman.com.
Alternative Talk 1150, online at 1150kknw.com.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Jaya, Gopola Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya Jaya, Gopola, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopola Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya.
Hello and welcome back to Ask Sara with Sara Wiseman. Today we're talking about how can we understand the universe. And Christian's example was a really beautiful way. So what he was noticing is along the idea of the signs and synchronicities that start to come in. The universe, we work in telepathy and symbolism and archetype and emotion. And of course, also that whole chunk of signs and synchronicities and flow. And if you are in that place where everything's moving really fast, again, where's the energy the most active in a positive way? And what's working? Make a list of everything in your life and be like, what's working? What's working without effort? And keep doing more of what's working. Don't always try and recreate I was going to say the spinning wheel. That's not it. Whatever. Don't try and recreate what's already all the time. Just do what's working. That is, the universe is telling you if it's working, that's where you want to be continuing your efforts. Alrighty, let's go to the phones, and we have Diana calling from Orange, California. Welcome, Diana.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Many blessings on this gorgeous summer day.
Yes, thank you. And thanks for your patience. What can I help you out with?
Well, I'm going through a transition. I just retired a few weeks ago after teaching for 20 years. And prior to that, I had a whole plethora of other careers and whatnot. But I'm well set. I'm very secure. I've got a great marriage. My husband's wonderful. I purchased a little extra house out in the Wine Valley, and that's been booked for every single weekend. So how come I have this feeling of what am I supposed to do? I got a visual when we were doing our meditation of just hug a horse. I was just hugging this horse's neck, and I thought, I think I just need to be a little bit more patient. I don't know.
Do you have experience with horses? Have you done like equine therapy or equine healing or any of those practices?
I haven't, but right next door to the property that I bought, the little house that we bought, is a horse rescue. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, and because sometimes
the universe is just like super direct. So hugging a horse might seem like, oh, it's, it means healing, or and I think, no, it just means go to that horse rescue and there's something there for you, especially since it's right next to this, new part of your life. So what I'm seeing is that pretty much through summer, you're going to be okay with this feeling of, I'm not quite sure where I'm going, and that's going to be okay. Because you're sort of used to the summer pattern of not having the routine of school. But when the fall comes, when fall comes, you're going to kind of feel a little bit, not in a bad way. None of this is bad. It's just transition. You're going to feel kind of destabilized, like kind of like a version of empty nest, actually. But the students are all your kids who are gone. And so I think I would be ready in the fall. I would probably set some things up that might be like some trips or some, not necessarily building business, but some distracting trips or changes of pace. I also feel like this little house is not the only one. It's like, I think you're going to have a couple of those. And I do think that at the horse rescue, there is something about how they're, I'm actually not seeing it as horse rescue. I'm seeing it as the horses are rescuing the humans versus the humans rescuing the horses. So I'm seeing that idea of equine therapy, and it feels like you're building some of these Airbnbs or whatever, whatever they are. Yeah. Okay. So it feels like you're going to build a couple of these, but they're actually maybe going to have more of a theme, like a healing theme or a retreat theme, or it's going to shift who you want to come in and why you want to come is going to become different, especially from this, whatever happens with these horses. Like, you're going to be like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah, so it makes perfect sense because my business name is Retreat to You. And,
yes.
So here's my next question. My follow-up question is, are there going to be investors? Because I'm more than willing, believe me. I was doing a walking meditation today, and I thought to myself, I'm so willing. I'm open to the next step. And, of course, all it takes is, figuring out the way. So
yeah, I don't see any reason that I don't think you're going to need investors. It's all going to be pretty simple. It's going to be small and lively and boutique as opposed to like a big retreat center. It's just going to be a couple of these Airbnbs with a theme, and that's what you're going to be building. But you've got to get through fall first, where you're going to kind of feel like, what the heck? So put some things in place, some little trips that will really help you out. Anyway, Diana, thank you. Thanks for calling in. I'm going to go to our next caller. Yeah. Well, it looks like we have Jill from Vermont. Jill, welcome to the program. Hi.
Hi. So
there we go.
Of course, right when I'm on the air.
It's okay. Yeah. What's on your mind?
My question today is I'm kind of going through a bit of an awakening again, but this time it's completely different because I feel like I'm tuning into higher frequencies now. And I guess my question is I just don't really know, like, is this really happening? Because my husband thinks I'm crazy, and it literally feels like I have superpowers.
Right. So, it's really normal. Like, we don't just get one spiritual awakening. We get one that really jolts us awake. And some people have it really young. Some people have it, different points in their life. But then after that, it's like we continue that, they don't stop coming, and they come kind of in waves. So you'll get some, or you'll get another opening, and that will last. Usually I don't find they last more than a couple months usually. And then there'll be like a rest period, and then you'll have some more. So once you start expanding, these expansions keep coming, but and they'll be like really active during a particular, like you're probably in a place of very active opening right now. So I would just kind of relax. If it's bothering your husband to hear about it, just talk to other people instead. You don't have to always have the same interests as your spouse. Just, sometimes, people's realities people have really different ways that they prefer to be in reality. And if the rest of the relationship is working out, you don't have to see these things the same way. Go ahead.
He just recently went through like a shift too, for himself, whereas before he wasn't into meditation or anything, and he was actually pretty didn't believe in anything after death and stuff. But then he went through a shift while we were actually living in an energy healer's home when this happened. And so now he meditates and he does yoga, but I'm still way up in the clouds with stuff that he has a hard time believing, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's really fine. A lot of people listening online know about my husband, Dr. Steve, and he's very, very spiritually oriented, and we do things really different. He has a very almost like an Eastern style, ancient shamanic practice, and I have my practice, which is with the guides, especially, or with clairvoyance. So you don't have to be the same, as long as you're both feeling that there's, the universe is supporting you. That's a belief system that you have. There's a lot of room. So in terms of your own superpowers that you're having right now, I would love for you to get some more training and kind of learn how to wrangle them a little bit more.
I'm actually feeling like I really need a mentor or something.
A mentor.
Your husband, has he written books?
No, he's got a very active practice that he works with people here in Oregon. But I think it would be good to find I have the group training that I work with people, or other people have trainings like that. Just let the universe bring you to some training thing that interests you, and just kind of study for a while. I think that's really what you need now, is to kind of ground yourself with some studying. And if you pick something, you'll study that, then you can study something else later, but just kind of begin to gather techniques of how it's all working. And I think that you'll be really find that aspect of like becoming the student. You're awake, but you got to know how to use it. You got to know how to use it. Yeah. Well, good. Well, hey, thanks for calling. I appreciate your call. It's a fun time to be in. So just go with it. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah. You're welcome. All righty. We have on the phone Carrie from Colorado. Carrie, welcome.
Thank you. Good to
Yes,
talk
what
to
can I help you? Yeah, you too. What can I help you out with today?
I am curious about career. I feel like I've been in a transition around my career over the last couple years, but right now I'm feeling like there's a lot of different directions and having a hard time focusing on one.
Yeah, I don't know if you were on the call yet when Christian was one of our earlier callers, and he was in this really activated state of career with a lot of choices and about to take one of those choices. But you seem that it's not quite the right timing yet. It feels like it's actually going to be not a year, but it feels like it's almost to February, March of next year before anything really prepares itself for you. So there's this absolute sure clarity. Mm-hmm. And it feels like there's some other things that need to be worked on during this time. Does anything come to mind as like to what else needs your attention besides career?
Well, I mean, I feel like my career is I'm a therapist, so I feel like, my own spiritual work, my own personal work, sort of like all of my work on myself translates into my career. I guess that is for everyone, but even especially. So any work that I'm doing helps me to show up more powerfully for others. So I'm kind of like everything. I can imagine.
Yes.
That's part of what I feel is like how much of it is me holding myself back, and how much of it is really that I'm not there yet. I still, I don't know if I ever get there, but you know what I'm saying. Like there's more work to be done.
Yeah, and it's not like you need to be ready, because you could make a change right now and be ready for whatever you set in motion. It's more like other things are more important than shifting career just for like the next 6 months. What's coming up for me is, do you have family or really close friends relationships that need like intimate soul circle kind of stuff? Are there things that need to be worked on there more? Because everyone's always working on that stuff all the time, but it feels like it's almost like that's where the pieces are for you.
My kids? I don't know.
Yeah. It's your kids. Yes. And it's maybe that they just need more support or less support, or, it feels like the patterning there needs some attention, either more or less. And maybe it's more for one and less for another, but that kind of, how we help them, and then there's a time when it's not appropriate to help them as much. We need to let them go more. It's kind of all around that.
Okay.
How old are they?
5 and 6.5.
Oh, they're pretty tight that way. So maybe it is. Is anybody starting school in the fall?
Well, one is going into kindergarten and one is going into first grade.
Yeah, those are pretty hardy transitions, So, and it may be the older one needs more support and the younger one needs more letting go, like the opposite of what you'd think.
Okay.
Because first grade is like, that's the big time, They got to step it up there, and they're both going to be having pretty different experiences, even though they're similar in age. But I think that's where you got to get them through. So that makes sense if it's more towards February, March. That's almost like getting them through the bulk of that school year. That's where the focus is. And so that is like the place of stabilization. And then after that, then you've got more time to find clarity on the career changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Carrie, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate your call.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Have a good day.
Yep. Yep, you too. Okay. Yeah, sometimes, these big transitions, wow, even for little kids, it takes a lot of parent work. Let us go to Marilyn, who's calling from Houston. Marilyn, welcome.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Oh, good, good. It's so funny that I think this is a great sign for me because I was just going through one of your classes that I signed up for, and then I see you're on the radio, so I'm like, oh my God, maybe I can get in. So
yeah, good for you.
My question is I'm trying to see if I'm going. I kind of believe that I'm going in the right direction with my career or what I'm trying to do. I want clarity and confirmation. With my current job, my doctor put me out on disability because I've been having some really bad spinning spells. And with that, even before she put me out, I started feeling led to go in the area of working with my gifts, clairvoyance, clairsentience. And so I started this certification class, and I believe that is going to be a huge plus for me. And I also started something new, which was card readings, tarot card readings. And I am so amazed at how many people, the fact that the responses that I get back from the readings. So I'm kind of like ready to just run in that direction. But as a single mother, my daughter's just going to college. I want to make sure that this is a good time.
Yeah, so I 100% agree that you have the gifts with you. Like you've always had the gifts. Now you've just kind of super turned them on. And so I think, yes, you're completely ready in terms of your own understanding to go out and do this work. And you're also ready in terms of your ability to work with others. Because it's one thing to be clairvoyant, but then it's another thing to like work with people so that they can hear what you're telling them.
Yes.
So I think that's all correct. And it's wonderful to take certification, but like a person like you kind of just knew how to do it since you were born, and actually before in many other lifetimes too. So it's like you don't necessarily need more of that. But what I do is I would use the next year as like a bridge. And so you build a bridge to this new business, but you don't throw away everything that's stabilizing now. Like you started up, part-time, and then you add to that, and you just kind of just slowly bridge yourself to be able to build it into full-time income. And it also seems like for you, like you need to be working with people in person right now. I don't know if you had a different plan, but that seems really important. Like that's where your best clientele and your most loyal clientele is, if you're working in person with people. Is that what you had planned, or were you planning on working by distance?
Well, I plan to do both. Right now, I started doing distance because, my whole, the bigger picture for me is to have a holistic shop where I, sell different crystals and candles where people can come. And when they actually get there, I can work with them hands-on. That's the bigger picture. Right now, I'm really working with everyone over the phone. They're local, but we generally do everything over the phone.
So this is, I'm glad we talked about this, because what the guides are saying is that if you want to have your dream of the holistic shop or center, you can't, it's like you have sort of two path choices. One's in person and one's by distance. But if you do want to create the dream of the shop, the place to focus is only in person. And then that gets people So just bridge towards that. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to drop everyone by distance, but just start building and plan on letting go of the distance and start bringing people to, find that place. Maybe you just have it a couple days a week, and then you attract to that, and then you build it, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Good luck to you, Marilyn. Thank you. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for calling. Alrighty, so we're going to finish up our show. This idea of this way that the universe is talking with us. And here's something I want to read from my new book, Messages from the Divine. Remember, you can get that free 11-week course that goes with the book. Just go to my website, sarawiseman.com. 2,000 people are taking this course right now. You can dive into it, and you can get the book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And for all you guys in Australia, I don't know that there's that many listening, but maybe there are. So Australia just got the paperback on Amazon. So that's pretty cool because people were only being able to get the Kindle version. It's the book Messages from the Divine. I'm going to read a tiny bit. Guidance arrives in messages. Lesson 42. Some of you hear us in your mind. You are attuned to language. You are attuned to words. You are attuned to speech. You are attuned to sound. So this is how we reach you. Remember, the universe speaks to you in the language that you best and most easily understand. Thus, visions will be the primary mode of direct connection for some. Others will receive guidance in messages. Remember, you receive from your soul. Thus, and here's where you got to pay attention because this is a tricky concept, the human experience of seeing a vision in the room, or the human experience of hearing a message audibly, as you would in your everyday world, this is not how the soul communicates, not with the eye, not with the ear. The soul receives information in the higher frequencies of universal vibration, and this shows up to you in your mind's eye, your mind's ear, and your heart. This means you receive visions from the universe in your mind's eye. You receive messages from the universe in your mind's ear. You receive knowing from the universe in your heart. Recall, the heart is where the soul resides. And the book goes on to continue talking about this way. We don't see and hear in the way that we do as humans. It's all through the soul, which is through the mind's eye, the mind's ear, and the bigger place, it's always through the heart. Now, I'd love for you to work on these ways that the universe communicates with you and just begin to pay attention to every little thing, every little communication in all the ways we've talked about today, and just wander around in your life and say, universe, show me, lead me, guide me, and just following along to all the signs and telepathies and visions and messages that come, all the ways, following those like little pieces of the puzzle, one after another, and before you know it, you'll be working in flow state, and that is the easiest, most joyful, most effortless state of all. I've been reading from Messages from the Divine, my new book. You can get it at my website, sarawiseman.com. Hey, folks, we're going to be coming back to you next week. Thanks for listening, and look forward to being with you next time.
Want more of Ask Sara with Sara Wiseman? Tune in weekly for more divine teachings on living a soul-led life. Want Sara's books, courses, and free gifts? Visit sarawiseman.com.
Are you a seeker on the path of soul growth? Did you know that Sara Wiseman's new book, Messages from the Divine, Wisdom for the Seeker's Soul, comes with the free Seeker's Guide? This 11-week online course helps you dive deep into the teachings of Sara's new book, and it's Sara's gift to you. Get Messages from the Divine and your free Seeker's Guide now at sarawiseman.com.